And it's kind of what you're saying with you want to see the lanes be coordinated in how they push and move forward and back. Everybody's got to have that same cohesion on the team fight level too, because otherwise you're just going to be running.
The client in which I'm trying to use to spectate the game keeps failing the patch. So I am also not in spectator, but they're not going to remake for me. We're going to remake for Impact. Let's see. Cassante runes, support Cassante.
No, I changed 100%. Impact, tough it out. WTHJ. Let's
Observers,
check.
Show me Impact's actual runes, if you can. The chat is amazing, but I wanted to see the players lined up.
It just doesn't do
I'll take
anything
Electrocute,
in this lane.
Dark Harvest, Fleet. I'll press the attack.
All of that stuff at least does something. As bottom lane, hold on now, CoreJJ might be in a little bit of trouble. And yes, he is. He's out of there. Hambach just jumps in, auto attack, first blood. They decide to give the money over to the Pantheon instead of to Rahel on the Varus. So
Still
we'll
left
see. Alive. Morgan's going to take his recall. Teleport back into lane now with Caulfield's Warhammer, pickaxe, and refillable. So a nice strong buy for the first recall.
Yeah, Morgan is likely going to be a problem. Immediately ults him as well as Impact is trying to hold the wave. Might get the solo kill.
Yeah, this one's looking rough. Morgan comes back to lane and no Guardian Aatrox. Because grubs require something else to give you any sort of reward. And if you can't get pressure in the side lanes, it's much harder to get the payoff from the additional damage to the turrets.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at those plates, man. 5, 5, 5 all across the lanes. They've been holding pressure in these lanes, warding River aggressively on the bottom side since that first blood.
Better, you can at least poke the guy with Q1, Q2. You can get value out of Airy.
Yeah. Yeah, so the chat is saying Airy, Phase Rush, Lethal Tempo, they're all better.
Yeah, this all seems better, but right now, things could not be worse for Quid here in the mid lane. The gank squad shows up. Hambach, Hugi around the second Drake.
CoreJJ's got to be really careful with no flash. That's why we had Quid right behind him in case they jumped on top of Core to try and return the damage. Nice little quick cheeky bot lane push by the Lucian.
Okay,
Now able to join.
Hambach trading a little bit. Cyclone pops off right with the CoreJJ ulti behind it. A lot of damage to Hambach.
Flanking.
Staying alive an extra second thanks to the shield, but he does fall down. Impact sweeping around on the side here with the World Ender. A lot of damage over Hell, and Sentinels have lost their AD carry. Darkwing's trying to get away from Quid, and Impact has no one left to guard. He flashes over the wall, just barely stays alive. But Sentinels have lost their jungler, they've lost their AD carry, they've lost their mid laner behind enemy lines. And Team Liquid is going to take those 3 kills. They're going to take this Drake, and they are going to take control of the game here in the bot side River.
Jose played this fight incredibly well.
Yeah, we can fight then. We can fight here. Yeah. We can fight here. It just cannot TP. It just cannot TP. TPing. Fight him first. Yeah, fight him first.
No combo Talia, no combo Talia.
We came in. Going. I got.
Look, Varus. Talia no flash.
Aatrox. Aatrox has splash up.
Okay.
I'm coming. Anyone?
No flash, Talia.
I will chase. Good job. Well played, guys.
Hectic comms for Team Liquid, I will say. There's always CoreJJ is incredibly loud in team fights, but sometimes that can be very beneficial. In that fight, to me, Jose, both with the engage, but then later on, managing to reach Rahel as Morgan had the flank team.
The biggest of which is the nearly 2,000 gold individual lead for Morgan Zambessa here in the top lane. Weaver's wall coming in.
Whoa, Yon.
Trying to make the play. Yon gets caught out. Wombo combo shut down on the Team Liquid 80 carry. Sentinels finds a critical piece as now Hambach's going to head over to the Rift Herald, and all that preparation Team Liquid was doing might have just been for naught.
Yeah, really nicely done there by Sentinels. It looked to me like Darkwings managed to sneak through a hole in Team Liquid's vision since Team Liquid was really aggressively holding the river with 3, but then they realized there were 4 and everyone just had to back away. Now they're looking to make a play on Impact though, goodbye.
Yeah, Impact, he at least heals.
Oh,
yeah, he gets himself the passive auto attack, which gives you a massive spike of healing, especially when it procs in the same auto as Sundered Sky. So quick surge to the health bar, but as soon as the next wave arrives, there's still more than enough firepower to knock him down. Wave crashes into the tier 1. Team Liquid's going to take this turret now. That will be their second turret. Around the Drake. Yes, even if you have teleports on both Morgan and Impact, Aatrox without World Ender does not have nearly the amount of threat and presence that Aatrox with that ultimate does. So Herald's going to be summoned up in mid lane by Rahel. It gets the charge into the tier 1, but they critically won't even get the full structure by the time Team Liquid is able to rotate over to defend after securing the Drake.
Yeah, nice TP there by Morgan to hold the turret. And I think that was correct by Sentinels to not contest that Drake. You're pretty much in last-ditch effort to salvage the game here, where on third Drake, you just try and trade Team Liquid's map investment for as much gold as possible. Ooh. Really cheeky play there by Morgan, but Impact is able to sidestep the ultimate and get some of that crystalline overgrowth off of the turret. But yeah, Sentinels just needs to get as close in gold as possible before the eventual soul fight. And a Guardian Aatrox, even if you send a Taliyah or Pantheon up there, you might still be losing. So they don't have the way to play the game.
And now Jose immediately has his way to play the game, jumping in after Hambach, but a counter engage coming out from Huhi and Rahel looking to target Yawn. Hambach is low, just about to die still. Yawn down to half HP. Impact makes his way into the fight, and Yawn is gone. Rahel's also out of the picture, and Team Liquid continues pressing forward. They've got themselves a 4v2. The fight is already won. It's just how much are they gonna win? And it's a whole lot, Jack. And here's our replay of how this started. It's Hambach trying to face check into the Tribe Rush.
Yeah, Team Liquid's going to be getting Baron during this replay. There's no way they can stop it. And again, it's Jose who actually pulls off the nice engage. I'd say Yawn does keep getting focused in these fights. He's probably not super thrilled, but everyone else on the team is able to capitalize on the team fight. This is one of those team comps where every lane, every player can carry, and Team Liquid easily clean this one up 4-for-1. Got a feel for Impact.
Yeah, it's tough, man, having the runes show up like that. Does the Guardian, observers, can we check how much damage the Guardian has actually managed to block this game? Because I'm going to assume it's procced twice.
I do
something like a Conqueror or a Grasp of the Undying. It's now a 6,500 gold lead with the Dragon control for the side of Team Liquid. Like we mentioned earlier, the clock is ticking down. You've got to have the map in the best possible state before they go after the Dragon Soul.
Oh,
this is not a good map state. Morgan's diving into all three players here on Sentinels. The follow-up from Jose, Core, and Yawn as they all pile in. Hambach's the first to die, and Yawn unleashes the calling. He's dead second, and there's the pincer play coming out from Quid to cut off the remaining members of Sentinels as they try to run. We might not get a Dragon Soul. The game might end before we ever get there. Jose Diodo looking for Impact here, who does manage to get enough distance to the ground as we speak. The tier 2 over in mid lane. Oh, it does survive. Look at that, just barely hanging on. The one in mid lane also about to die to the minions, so plenty of pressure in two different spots from those minions.
One Baron isn't often enough to end the game because you just don't get the same lead that you would get last year from the Baron. But I mean, it's probably going to be 2 Barons in this game as well. It's only 3 minutes until the next one, but Team Liquid is in total control.
Yep, and there's your Chemtech Soul. Utterly uncontested by Sentinels. They know that they don't have a chance of fighting a 10,000 gold lead TL at a neutral objective, so instead they're just going to take... And this is another one of those handshakes where you feel really bad about it there with the top lane. You're handshaking Dragon Soul for a tier 1 turret with an objective bounty slapped onto it up in top lane. So it doesn't feel great. Gets the gold lead back down to 4... Nope, never mind. Back up to 5 digits here for Team Liquid, as Quid's going to make sure it builds even further. Secures the last hit on that bottom lane tier 2, and TL is keeping the pressure on.
They really are. Jose has had a great game on the Wukong.
100%.
Notwithstanding the top lane to do it. That's the thing. It's not a completely unrealistic ask. Oh, Quid might be getting caught.
Yeah, Q1 hits the sweet spot. Quid eats the full Aatrox combo, but he's still alive with 60% HP.
Yep.
The Nami wave roars in over the top.
This might be GG.
Just stops the follow-up. Morgan dives into everybody. Hambach's going to be the focus here for the very start of the fight. Already down. Jose just into the back line yet again. Going after Rahel. Jose Diodo very low, but he does get another Sundered Sky proc to keep him alive. Jose walks away from it, but Impact finally gets the kill. The Aatrox awarded with 1,000 gold shutdown, but it's only Darkwings and Impact still alive as Yawn continues to get all those blessings from Core JJ. The bullets slow you down as he shoots you in the knees with him on the run. As Team Liquid continues their push towards the Nexus turrets, it is a 2v4 right now as Sentinels will scramble, but it ain't gonna matter. Darkwings is already down. Impact will be the next to die as Yawn and Morgan go forward. Double kill for the Lucian. And now as the minions arrive towards the Nexus turrets, that'll be all she wrote. 18-5. Team Liquid commanding their leads, particularly through Morgan, particularly through the plays of Jose Diodo throughout this game. Hambach's gonna die again. Team Liquid just wants to pad the stats a little bit. He retreats back into the fountain, and TL takes game 1.
A little bit of KDA maxing at the end of that game. 19 kills to 5. Dragon Soul secured. And the Lounge did...
Once you're low on health, that becomes seriously dangerous, seriously quick. So we'll see how well Yawn and Core can dial in that accuracy.
And this is really interesting early
Yawn
season.
and Core JJ running their lane matchup in this early game. And now 5 minutes on the clock, Jose Diodo feels empowered to just go for a solo dragon. Up in the top lane, Morgan is proxy farming against Impact, who goes for the ulti to stun him up here near the wall. Morgan about to die. It's first blood. Impact gets a solo kill when he has the right runes. Morgan might have overplayed his hand just a little bit here, trying to keep up with his mid and bot lane dominance. But that dominance does continue as Jose secures the first Drake of the game for TL, who he's got to be careful about getting any closer right here. He's already down.
The empowered Q on the minions. Yeah, getting hit by 2 full charge Qs, not ideal. We'll look to see who he engages on. All summoners there for Team Liquid. This has got to be clean.
Who he has a minion. They got to count the minions on the Team Liquid side. Flash away from Core JJ, who he already tried to use the Tangle Barbs, and they're going to send their attention over to Yawn. Nice use of the Vault Breaker to cut off the escape, combined with the flash. They knock Yawn down. Sentinels gets a kill bottom side. Gold lead so far in this game. Quid nearly getting the solo on Darkwings earlier, not quite having enough damage to make it happen. Now Core JJ tries to go in to put the pressure onto Darkwings, but the Emperor's Divide is ready. Darkwings sees the opportunity to instantly turn the play around with his bot lane roaming to go to Garage Sale of Defense. He does not have a first item power spike. Team Liquid, DPS slow onto the Dragon. Got it down below 3,000. Morgan wrapping around from behind, going in for the pincer attack. Who he wants the pop blossom, he finds it onto 2. Hambach ready to follow up. Rahel needs more damage if they want to try to kill Jose Diodo, but who he's already gone. Core JJ under pressure, but Team Liquid is finding so many kills. Quid knocks down Hambach. Morgan is ready and waiting with an open maw for Impact here in the bottom lane. The Mystic shot can barely not catch up to the Scion, but it's Core JJ traded for 3 players on the Sentinels side. Team Liquid, just like last game, chat, once you have both teams handshake for a duel, for a fight here at the Dragon, it's Team Liquid who have the faster hands.
Wow from Yawn and Jose. I also said wow, so I wonder. It's 3 losing lanes. You always say afterwards, if you lose the game, Morgan might be dead.
Yeah, okay. Impact goes in, stops him from being able to get away. Morgan does pop the Dominus, slices out of the way of the decimating smash. He wanted to try to heal up with the Inner Flame combo to lose 30-40% of his HP, something around there. Darkwing's ready to join up, though.
This is a really weird game with how fast it is and how close the goal still is, despite it looking like Team Liquid has just been running the whole server. I mean, Rahel's going to get fed off this bot turret. His call cashed in. He got the kill. He's also going to be not first turret gold, but still solo turret gold, so he's pulling ahead of Yawn. I ran into Spooks before the game talking about tempo, and he said any scrim where Hex Gates are up end up being this like 80 kill game, because not only do you have home guards, you also have the Hex Gates, so people are just on the map that you are unable to track, and you just end up skirmishing a lot, which is kind of what this game might devolve into, as they're going to fight over this Rift Herald as well. Yeah, the Herald's down to 5,000 HP. It's Team Liquid with control over the river, but Sentinels are ready to challenge that. Impact wants to be the front line here for the team. Does not have the ulti ready to go. Hambach goes in for the play onto Quid, but he flashes away from the pop. Rahel into the back line here with the Killer Instinct. Finishes the job, and the Team Liquid mid laner is down. However, they do accomplish... Yeah, considering... Okay, the Azir's just now making his recall, but he does have teleport to try to join up with the rest of Sentinels. Quid putting the pressure onto the tier 1 here in the bottom lane, has a big wave crashing into that one. Darkwings has already arrived. Jose Diodo going in. Hambach going to be the target, but there's no damage here to follow it up just yet. Quid's now going to be in massive danger. Goes golden, but he'll die as soon as he gets out of that statue form. They kill Rahel in trade, though. There's that Kai'Sa. There's that win condition you were talking about out of the picture now, as Hambach is down to 50 HP. Team Liquid trying to get out of the enemy jungle now, as both top laners have arrived for the fight. Morgan trying to make sure that his team can get control over this Scuttle Crab now, as you're going to see Jose Diodo summon up the Rift Herald over in mid lane, then go ahead and take his recall, look for the reset. Herald secures the tier 1 turret. And ultimately, we just have a couple of kills traded here, but critically one of those is Rahel, that very powerful Kai'Sa on the Sentinel side. Also power spike there from Darkwings with his Gnasher's Tooth, making play after play. 2-0-2 now. Does a nice little tempo gank in the top lane to then teleporting bot lane to get the scoop onto Quid. Now turning towards this Drake, which isn't necessarily free. Team Liquid decide to give it away. And soul point denied by Sentinels as they look to make a play bottom now.
I feel like that is huge for Sentinels denying that soul point. There as Morgan flashes away from the Pop Blossom, but the Tangle Barbs still lock him up, and Sentinels should have enough damage here. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Morgan gets away with 100 HP. He lived with 1. That is crazy work that he gets away like that. And you can see the whole roller coaster of emotions there on Golden Glue's face as he thought, yeah, we have the pick here. This is great. Good job, guys. And then the Renekton just barely walks away from it. Sentinels now looking to put on some pressure of their own. They've got Darkwings back up here in this top lane looking for the tier 1 turret that he was seeking after earlier. This time should be able to find it considering he has teammates in the neighborhood. As Morgan will take the chance to now trade for the tier 2 in the bottom lane. Team Liquid do have more turrets overall this game. They have had more control over more of the map for more of the game. Darkwings wants to try to let this turret eat as many minions as it can before it falls down. And it looks like right as we're about at the end here, there we go. Tag it, take it away. Team Liquid still about
a Nico gank, which wouldn't have done much. Now recalling on a control ward, interesting choice.
Okay, is this
very interesting?
No, okay.
Was he was just outside the bush. He didn't see it.
Oh, that is actually a big problem potentially as Impact storms in right over top of his bottom lane combo and they take Morgan out.
He wasn't inside the bush when he was recalling. I thought it was super strange that he'd be on a control ward.
1v4, Scion's pretty much always going to outperform in that situation.
Getting value out of the TP shield. They just really wanted to make sure they were maxing it.
All right, Sentinels starting up the Drake. Keep your eyes on Rahel, on that Kai'Sa. Impact still full HP here with the Scion as well. Who he goes in for the Pop Blossom. Finds it, but it's only onto Hosediodo as the Shockwave counterattack seals the fate of Huhi. 1 dead on either side, but considering it's the jungler for TL, it means Sentinel secures the Drake. Easy peasy. Morgan dies now too, and Sentinels are not done yet. Quid tries to get away from the Scion, but Impact is cutting off the escape route for CoreJJ and Quid. He has to back away now as Yawn finds some DPS opportunity to open up here
through this Scion.
Good mid control over the river itself, but because there's the Scuttle Crab vision for Sentinels, it's not like Team Liquid can fully force them out.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of a little bit of farming until the next Drake. It's still a little bit early to really hard force the Baron unless they do get a nice pick.
Oh, that is huge. Humbug! That is a potentially game-losing mistake for the jungler to be caught in a position like that. As Darkwings retreats back up here to the top side. But now, jungler dead, no Emperor's Divide, 4v5 for Sentinels.
I think Sentinels look for a fight here. I mean, Darkwings had to burn ultimate already as a disengage, but Impact can still ult in to create space.
Okay, there's no ulti on Morgan, there's no ulti on Quid. Sentinels stepping up.
Gotta keep hitting Baron so they can smite it.
Yep, Impact's your front line here. Team Liquid still DPSing the Baron. No smite on the enemy team to try to steal it away. Baron secured. Hombok's greedy recall is now Team Liquid are back in control. But again, getting those past 2 Drakes, this is so much less frightening for Sentinels than it otherwise could have been because Team Liquid now could be in some trouble. Yawn with the flash over the wall, but immediately Rahel's ready to follow. Killer instinct! Killer indeed. Who he ends up taking the kill credit as now you've got Quid and Hosediodo trying to do something back into Sentinels. They found a couple of kills. Darkwings wants to go in after Quid as Jose and Morgan are trying to scrap with Rahel and Impact. CoreJJ makes his way into the fight, but Quid's had to run all the way away. Impact stunned up with the enchanted Ruthless Predator, loses his shield on that one. Hosediodo looking for Rahel. He knows that's the target. Dead bodies on the floor in both jerseys, chat. It's 1 dead for TL, 2 dead for Sentinels.
And we're going again in 30 seconds. That was with the redeploy by Sentinels just being towards waves.
Yeah, Team Liquid secured this one for themselves. There's no Baron on the other side of the map to worry about Sentinels taking. So finally, nearly 29 minutes into the game, it is soul point status for TL. Darkwings' Sundisk is decaying down here in the bottom lane. Hosediodo going to jump in, try to put some pressure onto the Emperor. Korin Yawn moving in to try to help Jose here. The tether will lock up Darkwing, but they need to have the extra damage on top, and Hosediodo guarantees it. Another individual mistake on the Sentinels side, being in a position that could be punished, is going to open up yet another Team Liquid avenue to find more afterwards. This is a 45-second death timer on your late game Azir. This is pressure onto the tier 3 turret coming out from Team Liquid as Impact moves in to try to stop the push. Morgan is maintaining a split push threat over in the mid lane, but now he's going to get jumped on. Hombok and Rahel immediately pull both triggers on the ultimates and take out the enemy top laner. Problem is, now those tools are no longer available, and Team Liquid is already in your base. Sentinels are thinking about how are we going to make this play? How do we try to wrap around and punish? But it's still a 4v4 because you've still got Darkwings dead. Now, once Darkwings respawns, he has TP. We'll see if they can use that.
I'll give you a second to take a breath because this game's not slowing down. Hambach is on the flank, and they will have a numbers advantage before Team Liquid can get out.
He's Pop Blossom. Keep your eyes on it. Quid's going to be tagged, but nobody else is caught. He goes for some burst. Impact wants to lock up the rest of the team. Hambach trying to put the Vault Breaker into Quid, and they've got the kill in the mid laner. Nicely picked up there on the side of Sentinels to get Quid and Core JJ together. Yon and Jose Diodo trying to make sure they can both escape. It's the buddy system. Don't go nowhere without your buddy. Sentinels wanting to get something back on this one. Tier 1 turret. Now the focus of their aggression. They will take the gold lead back with this, but critically, Baron is still 2 minutes away, so there won't be maybe a little bit hard to chew through a late game Scion, but now Baron's health bar down to below 10,000. Team Liquid doing very slow DPS though, as He is a Riverside minion trying to find his way around from behind the fight. Hambach wants to lead the charge. Shockwave right back onto the enemy jungler, as both will be knocked down into the Guardian Angels now. Morgan not finding an entry point into the fight as Yon dies. Hambach's ready there to take the kill. Jose Diodo re-enters, and Darkwings is dealt with. Jose over the wall, but Rahel's ready to follow him as Team Liquid continue fighting here in a 3v4. Morgan goes back over the wall. Rahel under pressure. They need to try to kill the Kai'Sa, but they can't find the damage. Core JJ gonna be your target here next. Double kill into a Kathian Rain, and Quid is down. Triple kill Rahel, and Sentinels, when it matters most, out team fight Team Liquid.
Absolutely insane play there by Rahel, but it all started with a suicidal-looking Vi engage. He knew what he needed to try and one-shot him. No, the Orianna Ball's not going to do it because of that stopwatch. He can finish off even more kills. They get the Baron. They also get another Drake to deny Soul, and this is an absolute
the bottom lane. 5,000 individual gold lead for Rahel on the Kai'Sa. Nearly full build. You can see the itemization here in his inventory. Nashor's, Ginsu's, Dusk Dawn. Critically, the Zonias as well for the aggro drop alongside the Kraken Slayer. And now with the needlessly large rod in inventory, once that evolves into a fully completed item, he's done. 7-item ADC.
What an absurd power spike you have on every stage of this Kai'Sa build. Every single item seems to give him a new awesome power, and it's a Kai'Sa comp. When he's this fed, it's really, really nice to play. It's the funny thing with Rahel, this was true even last year on DSG, like when he gets a lead, he's very good at carrying. It's just really hard to get him gold because their laning is not that dominant. So the fact that they were able to win so many skirmishes.
As well, the only person without a no you can't kill me item on Sentinels is the 7,000 HP Scion. So
I think he's a no, he doesn't need the item. It's also the protoplasm harness, kind of. Like when you have
it's not to the same
health.
chunk of damage as, all right, let's go ahead and begin the Baron. It's Hambach and Rahel. That's DPS from just the three of them. Like this thing is shredding. Team Liquid, if they want to try to challenge this, they're going to have to go yesterday. Nope, Hambach's already got it secured. Impact's in the middle of everybody. Hoo-hee! With the Pop Blossom onto the back line, already ready to take Yon out of the picture. Core JJ's your target as Jose Diodo has to retreat. Rahel's going legendary. Now he's going golden. He's putting the pressure onto everybody on Team Liquid, and Yon's going to be killed off next. True Shot Barrage won't matter worth a damn. Quid's running towards the wrong side of the jungle. Jose Diodo's trying to
do it. They probably end on this push.
Yeah, they've got a cannon minion. They've got Baron. Quid's going to try to stop these, and as soon as he steps up, you just instantly kill him. The damage onto the turrets from Azir and Kai'Sa at this part of the game is so massive.
Yeah.
They're just going to crumble in an instant. Impact makes his way forward as well. I can barely count the notches on the health bar anymore on this guy. As Sentinels continues their push towards the Nexus turrets, 15 seconds on Yon and Morgan for the Team Liquid side. Darkwings and Rahel stepping up to do the DPS. Rahel flies into the back line, looking for the killer instinct, but nobody's dead here just yet. He one-shot him. Rahel gets the one-shot at a core. JJ Hambach following up towards Quid. As Sentinels is honestly taking a little bit too long to do this. Darkwings getting targeted by Morgan. True Shot Barrage over the top. Darkwings is slowed. Morgan with a 1,000 gold shutdown. There's no way, right? There's no way, right? There's no way, right? Hambach and Impact are alive, but a TP's coming into the bottom lane now.
Rahel got one shot by Quid trying to style with a late game ultimate. I think the Baron buff and the Scion is enough to stop it, but this wave is pretty deep, and there are super minions for Team Liquid. It would be a 3v2, but this is the last-ditch effort. It's just a Sion and a Vi.
Yeah, they're full sending it all ready for the Team Liquid side. They already committed both teleports. They've already got Yon here. Hambach and Impact trying to hold the line. Yon's gonna make sure he hits every single bit of his DPS, but Morgan's about to die. He dies before he can get away. Quid and Yon trying to keep the pressure going. Impact at half HP, and Team Liquid wrecking.
And Elder is up, so the instant where Hell starts hitting it, it's gonna die in like 5 seconds.
Okay, let's see how much damage they do to it. Acathian Rain. Yeah, it honestly looks
That's
like
already 10,000 damage.
Kais is dancing with how fast she shoots. This has got to be a new feature for the KDA skin, as now immediately they try to go in. Darkwing is going to be your target. Yon's already killed him, but the Elder Drake has been claimed by the side of Sentinels. Hambach going into the back line, looking to try to find himself a target. Health flies in with a killer instinct, and there's your executions. Sentinels finally finds it, the triple, the quadra kill for Rahel. They might have lost Darkwings there at the very beginning, but the Elder buff ends games for a reason. It was a long, bloody battle, my friend, but Sentinels are not gonna go quietly here in this best of 3. They bounce back in game number 2. They do it with the massive Kai'Sa performance. Are bad at laning. Nobody's actually bad in the lane.
Yeah.
Because it's all equalized.
Yeah. Alistair, Rakan is a flip. You don't really want to play Braum into Rakan because Rakan
down
is
here
flat.
near bottom lane. They've got the push. They've got the control through Rahel and Huhi, like you already mentioned. So Hambach will take a very early first Drake. Early mountain Drake. Nice.
Yeah, start the clock. That's 5 minutes, 36 seconds. I talked earlier in the series about how Sentinels fixed their game last week by just playing Drake. So they got Dragon Soul in both of their wins last week. Technically today, they also got their win from Dragon Soul, even though it was a 7 Drake Soul in that game.
Yeah.
This team does need to have the stacking objectives to win so far. They don't necessarily play on the same page a lot of the time, so a way to bring everyone onto the same page is just start Drake stacking early and fight around objectives.
And I feel like this kind of ties in with something you brought up in the previous game. Hold on, we'll talk about that in just a moment, because Sentinels may find themselves
Crab is the objective.
On the receiving end of a pincer attack. Hambach eats the resonating strike there from Hosediodo. Now he's got to be a little bit careful, does get knocked back, but the entrance from Darkwings is heroic indeed. It's first blood over to Sentinels. Hambach might just die here, but CoreJJ should get picked up. Rahel chasing after him in the flash for the auto attack. He's staying alive for now, but the death ray picks him up. It's a 2-for-2 trade in the bot side river.
And not only that, both kills go to both carries on both teams, so a really even fight there. Big power spike if he decides to press that one. So Sentinels pushing bot lane, getting pushed in the top lane, but it's a lot of just minion trading when we consider what's actually happening in the lanes, unless Hambach can make a dive happen. They're gonna get the notification of the grub soon.
Yep, okay, so Void Grub's secured. Hosediodo's got that one. Hambach knows there's no ultimate here on the Alistar. Darkwings is also following up behind to guarantee they're able to take this. CoreJJ drops, and now the target might just be Yon here with a follow-up. Hambach's going forward. Arcane Storm is used, but it won't matter. It looks like Team Liquid were ready for Hambach to show up because they send Yon back. CoreJJ is the sacrificial lamb, but Yon hanging around there just a little bit too long. To lose a wave, don't get me wrong, but then to give up the kill right after, even if you know that the Galio is going to be close and you're portrait, just quickly jump forward a little bit towards the Dragon Pit in the minimap, and that means that Hambach and the rest of Sentinels have decided they have enough control. They will be able to secure this second Drake of the game, and once again, trust pays off.
Flowers Hex Rift is creating chaos already.
Yep, I called it, I told you.
He's already back in the map. They're still fighting.
He wants the knock up onto Jose, but the grand entrance falls a little bit short. Quid stepping forward here. Remember, no ulti on either one of the mid laners. CoreJJ does have Unbreakable Will here on the Alistar as the TP is coming in. Core jumps in, nice two-man knock-up. Hambach returning with the counter-engage as there goes Morgan's equalizer, trying to find enough damage here. He and Hambach both about to die. CoreJJ won't be traded. The double kill back over to Morgan on the Rumble. He's looking to carry from the top lane. Where the hell did the Ornhorn go? Impact is not able to send the thing back in where they wanted it, and Team Liquid gets everybody away on blinking health bars. I do think that could have been the fight turner that you were talking about. Ooh. If that Ornhorn redirects, because you slam that onto all of those low health bars, they should be able to pick up this kill onto Quid without a whole lot of to do about it. That Peyz rush is getting him somewhat away, but no, Hambach will finish the kill. Yeah, the Ornhorn in that previous fight, if you could have found the knockups and the follow-ups, but we'll never know. It's only hypotheticals from here. CoreJJ and Hosediodo coming up. 2 versus 3 as a nice quickness to charm them both from Huhi, but there's no follow-up damage. Yon and Rahel encountering one another. The Foss Bomb connects onto Yon, and Rahel goes in! The AD carry battle results in a win for Sentinels, and now with 2 dead on the enemy team, both of those 2 being carries, Jat, it looks like Sentinels is ready to start up the Rift Herald. Jose Dioto is nearby,
still going.
and Dark Wings is coming around from the other side. Core and Jose wanting to challenge for the objective. Resonating Strike comes in from Jose Dioto, and he steals away the Herald. Now the equalizer's down over the top from Morgan, but it's still a 4v3 favoring Sentinels. Jose wants to get out, but the heroic entrance goes in. Morgan's still overheated, but he's got another flamethrower ready to go. Morgan finds a kill. Rahel's gonna die to Core JJ. Morgan finally falls to the winds of war as Core is knocked up into the air by the grand entrance once more. Quid's trying to show up, mop and bucket. He's got some cleanup duty to do as Impact wants to cover for the escape of Dark Wings and Huhi. This is a game, my friend. This here for Sentinels. Huhi on the recon, just trying to get as much value as he can out of those gleaming quills, those extra heals, keep everybody topped up against the poke. Impact gonna be your front line here. Over the wall goes Huhi. Quickness ready to follow it up with a heroic entrance coming down over the top, and Jose Dioto is already down. Equalizer, not a lot of value to be found as Morgan has to try to flash away, but Hambach is in hot pursuit. Team Liquid, they only lose
Morgan
one.
was trying to hold the flank, so he's almost preventing the re-engage here, but Huhi flies in. You can see no other carries other than Morgan can really do any damage as Yon and Quid both just push completely out of the fight.
Sentinels, man. You could look at Jose Dioto's eyebrows jump
Being
up.
back to their week 2 selves, right? Sentinels loses to DSG, then they demolish Dignitas, and maybe they beat Team Liquid. They're on Morgan now.
Yeah, they immediately summon up the Ornhorn. Impact has it all ready to go here this time. Yes, he doesn't quite slam himself into the volcanic fissure how he wanted, but it means it only cost them an extra second to get that kill. And Jat, that was the plus 2,000 gold rumble. That was what has been trying to get Team Liquid through some of these mid-game fights, and that was a free kill on the very same
He's
dude.
hunting in the sideline. I don't even know if they have the damage to kill, but he's flashless, so they're hoping to burn ultimate, which they do, and now they can just disengage.
Yeah, just walk it off. Hambach is coming to show up, though. If Morgan overstays for this, Core JJ is at least ready to shadow him a little bit. Meanwhile, they will at least be able to secure the top lane tier 1 turret for the Team Liquid side. That is the first turret they've got all game long, mid and bottom. On our Ornn upgrades, we do have that Trinity Force upgraded now for Rahel's Corki.
And
Sentinels,
this is the spot to fight.
grouped up as 5. Rumble ulti still 5 seconds away. Core JJ tries to jump in the middle of everybody. He's going to take a lot of damage here at the very start as Hambach wants to put pressure onto Morgan, but Hambach is already killed. Now Yon's about to be bursted down. Dark Wings doesn't have any cooldowns left. The Arc of Ruin going to force the Galio back. Sonic Wave into the Resonating Strike. Jose Dioto wants to go in, but he has to get right back out. Remember, there is no jungler on the side of Sentinels, so trying to take this Drake doesn't feel right.
And Hex Gates re-engaged. Look, Rumble already teleporting. Core JJ on the way. I think they denied the soul.
Soul stopped. It stopped. Team Liquid, it's a 1-for-0, but again, last time they were on the receiving end.
But instead, Hambach really tried to go fast. He's the one who falls, and Team Liquid stay in the game.
Huge, huge halting of momentum there. I'm not going to call it a swing for Team Liquid because I believe that Sentinels is still definitely in the lead. However, that gold lead has fallen by half. Team Liquid has bought themselves at least 5 more minutes before a soul would arrive. Darkwing should be able to pick up just some free gold here. Punch the turret 1 time. Easy peasy. Brings the gold lead back up to 2K. You have Jan's Yunara, though, with those Fiend Bolts. The item, the new AD carry item that is it's another thing kind of like Experimental Hexplate where it's really good on the champs that really like it, even if it's kind of useless on the majority of champs overall. Any marksman that really wants to turn on their ult for the team.
The side wave. They're likely just looking for an engage here. Impact level 16 on this Ornn.
You're seeing on my wave pings coming out from the Team Liquid side towards the Baron, though. This Baron DPS is not particularly fast. Team Liquid is going to make their way over. Morgan gets taunted up, though. A lot of combo damage onto the Rumble, and Hambach's ready to create some space for everybody else. Core JJ down to half HP. Here comes the Ornhorn, and Impact with the sideline kill on Morgan starts it off. Now Yon's in danger. He might get focused. Rahel flies in. Hambach is down, but so is Yon. Team Liquid has lost everybody except for Quid and Jose Dioto, and Sentinel still has 4 men. Health bars are compromised, though. Darkwing's gonna go ahead, go back to base. He is marking with his recon. Hambach and Rahel DPSing the Dragon slowly but surely. Got it down to about 2,500, and Impact is going in here with the Ornn. He knocks him up into the air, and they've already claimed the soul, and Morgan's soul as well. Darkwings drawing the Ire of Yawn off to the side, but it's only a distraction as now Team Liquid's gonna lose their second man. A double kill for Rahel, and Hambach wants even more. Wind becomes lightning, and lightning strikes Quid as he's again forced to retreat. Team Liquid, they lose 2 men, they lose the Dragon Soul, they lose control over the top side of the map, and now the Baron should go the way of Sentinels.
Jose still hoping to pull off a miracle, has the control ward inside, has another control ward and a trinket to check, but I mean, this is a rather big ask to try and steal the Baron away from this Hextech sold Sentinels team.
Team Liquid fans, spam your Tukis. Jose Dioto's got to go for the miracle here because Sentinels really wants this Baron. Jose Dioto throwing the Q over the wall. He jumps into the pit. The Baron's still at 2,500 HP. Meanwhile, Darkwings is ready to follow up over the wall. He finds the taunt onto 2. Nobody else wants to overcommit to chasing Lee Sin.
Team Liquid had to go in for the Drake, but it was too low by the time they did, so Sentinels get it anyway, and then there's no retreat.
A storybook, what you get in the interview for this game. Between the game 1 all the way up through now, if they can manage to turn it around and win the series. CoreJJ is already almost dead. As soon as Hambach goes in for the prime 3-talent strike, knocks him up into the air, that's going to force out your Unbreakable Will, which means CoreJJ now has to wait for that cooldown to do anything other than go in and die after 1 combo in a team fight.
Not completely over yet, though. So 1 minute, 30 seconds on this Baron power play. They have to make it count. They are a short-range team, so they have big-time tanks, but it's really just Corki who can safely hit these turrets. They might have to full commit for a dive, which can get messy.
And they're ready to step up and start putting that pressure on.
If they can just hit it, though.
Yeah, the first turret, there's no defense here from TL. Hambach steps forward, audacious charge on the minion for the better positioning for Wind becomes lightning, means that Team Liquid feels that presence. They have to back away, and now the top lane tier 3 gets knocked out by Darkwings right thereafter. That means that this will be a 2-inhib game immediately without much of a fight being put up by Team Liquid, who are now this close to losing this series. Yawn gets jumped on, Ornhorn coming through. Heroic entrance right next to it. Yawn's about to die, and Impact's taking the kill all for himself. Jose Dioto can't get to the back line. Who he might die. The turret shot's in the air. Quid takes the credit for it, but the first Nexus turret is already about to fall. Morgan wants to hold with the flame spitter, but it's just not hot enough. Rahel and the rest of Sentinels push forward towards the Nexus itself, and Quid and Morgan can't stop them. 2-1, Sentinels takes the dub.
And Sentinels move on to lock